Okay, so let me go through the steps, what you need to get in the habit of doing. You know how we have the graphic organizer? Remember the graphic organizer you got on Monday? Let me open that up. It's the flow chart. Here we go. So right here on this flow chart, you probably want to have this sheet out to help you with your homework, because whatever type of quadrilateral they tell you, that's the box you need to use to problem solve, like identifying the property. So for example, the first one is a parallelogram. You're gonna they're gonna tell you, or they're gonna have it marked. You're gonna mark the given sides or given parts. They tell me that YL is 12, so I'm gonna put the 12 there. YB, I'm assuming that's the diagonal. Oh, YB, okay, so it's this one. That's 13, and YKE, this whole angle, is that the whole angle? Yeah, that is 50. Let me see if I can make this bigger. All right, so if it's a parallelogram, then the diagonals are bisecting each other, right? And then what else do we know about a parallelogram? Consecutive angles are supplementary. So if this is 50, this has to be 130. Does that make sense? And so they want us to find the measure of KYL. Isn't that consecutive? Yep, so it would be 130. Then they also want us to find the length of EK. EK is a side. So what do we know about the sides? Yes, so this one is opposite sides congruent. So that means that EK is also going to be 12, correct? And then they want us to find EY. What does EY represent? The diagonals. The diagonals, and I spelled that wrong, bisect. So if I know it's 13, then it's also 13 on the other part. So what's the length of the diagonal? 26. Do we have any questions on what we're doing here? No, I do not need you to do the property. I just make sure you use a property to come up with your reasoning, okay, to justify your answer. All right, so 16 is with the rectangle. This page, this sheet is fairly simple. Okay, it's just setting up the parts using the property. I really want us to talk about this next page, page 3. All right, so yes. Yeah, that has to be why. All right, so let's look at number 2. Now, it tells us that for problems 2 through 7, QRST is the rectangle. And I'm just going to highlight that part, because you're going to have 2 shapes. So here's your rectangle. And then QZRC, oops, is a parallelogram. So here would be a parallelogram. Okay, so we're going to use both informations to help us problem solve. So I know that QC, this little side, is 2x plus 1, and TC is also 3x minus 1. So am I using the parallelogram or am I using the rectangle? You're using the rectangle. You should be focusing on the rectangle. All right, what parts or what property can I use to help? Yeah, the diagonals are congruent. All right, so if they're congruent, then I know that 2x plus y is going to equal the 3x minus y. I mean, minus 1. I keep saying y. Because we have a system we have to work. So I want to make sure we get to. So each time on these set of problems, you're going to have a rectangle and a parallelogram. You have to figure out which shape to focus on, start the problem, and use it to find the other missing part. Because on number 3, I know that it's not your homework, but TQC, that's 70, so that means this is 30. for the rectangle. They want us to find QZR. Basically, they want us to find this angle here. Okay. What? Oh, 70 and 20, sorry. 70 and 20. So they want us to use what we know in the rectangle. So here's our rectangle to help with the parallelogram. And here's where we're going to go. All right, so remember when the diagonals bisect each other, they're all congruent, right? What type of triangle here? QRC. Isosceles. So if that is 20, wouldn't this be 20 as well? Yes? And then we know what a triangle equals to. 180, right? But we could find angle C. What is the measure of angle C? 140. Now that I have angle C, we have opposite angles in the parallelogram. And what do we know about them? They're the same. They're congruent. So I know that the measure of angle QZR is also 140. So you're going to have opposite angles congruent. Huh? What equals 360? Yes, you're right. $140 in the 20 here. Which, like, 20 is 40. Focus on this triangle right here. This thing is not working. You see? Do you see it now? Okay. All right. All right. Number 6, real quick. Look at number 6. You have quadratics that you will have to do. So, RT, this whole diagonal is going to be x squared. And QC, that's part of, what? There we go. That's part of the diagonal. That is 4x minus 6. But in a rectangle, what do we know about the diagonals? They're congruent because they bisect each other. So, x is the whole equal to the part? That's what I'm asking. Is the whole diagonal equal to that part? What do we have to do to this little part? Multiply it by 2. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. So you're going to multiply. Come on and work. Yeah. 4x minus 6. You're going to multiply by 2, and it's going to equal to x squared. But it's a quadratic, so in order to solve it, we're going to have to do what? Factor. We have to get it equal to 0. So we're going to FOIL. All right, so basically we need to move these over, minus the 8x plus the 12. Get it in standard form. So 8x squared minus 8x plus 12, and now we're factoring. Okay. All right, so you will have some factoring. I think you even have a system. Check Edmodo for your partial key. Due tomorrow. Okay.